So, hey guys, today I'm going to be cutting off all of this beautiful hair that I have been growing over the past 7 months, 8 months? I'm not quite sure, we're in August now, so yeah, about 8 months. And I'm doing this because I've just, deep down, I felt like it's time for a change. I want to go for a style that's more low maintenance. I want to go for a style that, isn't always in my face every time I look down, or I don't always have to worry about tying up or something. And I've got a message coming through today that's very resonant with what I've been experiencing ever since I've been feeling that pull. Because ever since I've been feeling that pull, my mind has been kicking up a fuss, and the resulting experience has been I've been being pulled back and forth and back and forth. Do I cut my hair? Don't I cut my hair? Oh, but what if this happens? Oh, but what if you regret it? Oh, ba-da. And basically my mind has jumped in, and I've realised that my mind has very much become attached to my long hair. So naturally, a message has been coming through about the nature of attachment, the mind, the ego, and how ultimately, if you are attached to something, you will inevitably suffer. You will inevitably suffer. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, and we're going to be moving through it. I've got a few excerpts of one of my favourite books, The Power of Now, so I will be referencing that as well. Exciting video for you guys today. So without further ado, let's get into, let's get into cutting off this beautiful head of hair of mine. I would also like to apologise for the audio quality. I know it's probably going to sound a bit tinny. There is this weird fan that goes off in my bathroom every time we turn on the lights, so there's some background noise as well. I apologise for that, but hopefully the head shaving oh god, will make up for all of that. So yeah, basically about 2 weeks ago I felt the urge to go back to a shorter hairstyle, and it's been something that's kind of come up quite a few times over the course of having long hair, but it's usually been quite transient. So it's usually been like, oh, that'd be cool, or oh, I'm bored, I need like stimulation, and I'd like to try something new. But this time it stuck around. I started feeling it, and then the feeling didn't go away. That's all good, right? Oh my god, I actually can't tell. Yeah, that's all right. So basically it didn't go away, and that was when I knew it was truly time to cut my hair, because I was genuinely feeling excited and passionate about switching things up a bit. And originally I was going to go back to a shorter hairstyle of mine, just a messy on the top and like skin fade on the side. But today I had the idea to just, why not shave it all off? I've never had a buzz cut. It would make for a very interesting YouTube video, and it would also challenge my mind the most, because I really don't think a buzz cut's going to suit me, guys. I'm going to be honest with you, I really don't think it's going to suit me. So my mind is kicking up a very big fuss. It is basically very, very triggered. The most it could be, Shaving off all my hair is the most extreme I could go with it. And I really wanted to challenge my mind's attachments and come up against them, and basically breathe through that discomfort and prove to myself that I have ownership over my mind. My mind does not have ownership over me, as is the same for all of you wonderful people. And this is a very important thing to realise. But before I go on, oh man, let's cut the bun, shall we? Let's cut the bun. Let's do it. Oh man. You know what I feel like right now? I feel like Tanjiro off of Demon Slayer, if any of you have seen that anime, where in the first episode, I think it is, he gets his man bun cut off by a demon. Unfortunately, this isn't as cool, I'm afraid, but Same kind of thing. Okay, right. 3, 2. I'm gonna try and get a good angle for this for you guys. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. I might ever just do it. Okay, yeah. 3, 2, 1. Okay, this is taking. Okay, that was a bit anticlimactic. I think it's taking a bit longer than I thought, but I think it's cutting. Oh, I can hear it cutting. These probably aren't the best scissors. Oh man. I'm just. God, this is torture. I thought it was gonna be like ripping a bandage off. This is not like ripping a bandage off. This is like. Oh, this is very slowly peeling it off. I can just hear it getting cut away. Oh, come on. Probably gonna have to speed this up a bit. Oh, that's better. That's more of a crunch. Well, I wouldn't say better, but it's more of a crunch if I snip it like this. Oh, yeah, that's really cutting. There we go. Oh, come on, get it over with. Rip the bandage off, please. Oh, wow, that's... Okay, there we go. Hold on. I did not think this through. Okay, that looks pretty dreadful. That looks pretty dreadful. That was, not a... Sorry guys, that was really not very satisfying for you guys, but that's pretty much what it looks like right now. Still pretty long. I can't really tell much of a difference so far, but there's a lot of hair coming off, so... But yeah, basically guys, man, these scissors are not great. You can really hear it. Okay, maybe they're not so bad. Essentially guys, attachment is going to make you suffer. It's going to lead towards suffering. And this is because your mind is attaching to things that aren't permanent. Your mind is attaching to transient things, most of the time, right? Your mind is attaching to, oh, I want that person to love me. Oh, I need that job. Oh, I need this circumstance to, I need to gain it, and then I need to keep it forever, right? But ultimately, especially in the case of if you're someone who finds you're very attached to how you look, your appearance, you know that that's going to change at some point, right? We're going to age, we're going to get older, our appearance is going to essentially, you know, morph and change, as I'm not cutting that very well. Our appearance is going to morph and change as we get older, and yeah, we're not going to stay looking the same. So if you get attached, if your mind gets attached to looking a certain way, being a certain idea of what your mind deems to be attractive, right? Because also that's subjective, but your mind is essentially going, oh, I need to have bigger lips, or I need to have longer hair, or shorter hair, or a different colour hair, or bigger this, or smaller that. But the thing is, you can get that, sure, through whatever means, you know, you desire, surgery, or working out, or just time if you want to grow your hair, or whatever, you can get those things, right? But if you find that your mind is essentially going, I need those things, and this is a very important distinction, guys, because it's okay to have desires. That is perfectly fine. If you feel excited towards doing something, making a change in your life, changing your physical appearance, going about pursuing that career, getting that job opportunity, moving house, if you feel genuinely excited and motivated and passionate to do those things, and it's coming from a place of expansion, joy, love, go for it. 100% go for it, you know? But if you find that your mind is clinging to these things, I need that, so then I can be happy. I need the person, so then I can be loved. I need the job, so then I can feel successful. I need, so then, right, that kind of dynamic, your mind is attaching to transient 3D objects because it basically believes that you cannot, it is impossible for you to feel happy without those 3D symbols in your reality. But here's the thing, and this is a very reassuring thing that I'm about to tell you. Sorry, I got distracted looking at my hair. You can feel happiness, love, joy, bliss, fulfillment without any 3D circumstance. It is not conditional. Those are not conditional emotions. Those are not emotions that are locked behind some sort of circumstance that you need to have in order to then have access to. And how do I know this? Because I've experienced it firsthand. Also, there are many, spiritual teachers, self-help gurus, many people have experienced the same thing. So don't worry, you don't just have to take my word for it. But yeah, I think my main prominent time was back in 2021. I had about a month-long period where I was just in pure joy, bliss, and I was new to this whole spiritual thing. I was meditating very frequently, and I'm sure some of you may be saying, oh, well, there you go, meditation. You need to meditate in order to feel those things. But the interesting thing is, meditation isn't a doing. And I need to be clear about this. Meditation is not a doing. You are literally doing nothing. You are sat down and you are just being. It is a state of flow. You're not clinging to anything. You're not attaching yourself. There's no identity there. So in a state of deep meditation, in a very real sense, you could say, or I could say, will is not there. My mind, my ego is not there. Now obviously there's noise, there's thoughts happening, but I'm fully entrenched in the awareness that I am not that, and therefore I do not need to derive my sense of happiness, satisfaction from something conditional, from a happy thought or a good circumstance or a peaceful sound, right? My sense of joy, peace and bliss and contentment is naturally coming from the feeling of my own beingness, my own presence itself. It is completely independent. And your presence, your state of presence, that blissful underlying ocean of consciousness is always there. Always there. It doesn't matter how chaotic, how miserable, how depressed, how anxious you feel. If you did not have that foundational state of consciousness behind all of that chaos, well then you would not be able to have an experience at all, right? There would be no awareness. You wouldn't be having any sort of experience. And you will find in that meditation, in that state of being with that presence, being with your true natural essence, that you cannot detach from that. It is not something you can detach from and observe. It is as far back as you can go. Therefore, the logical conclusion is that it is you, right? Because naturally you won't be able to detach from you. And this is very liberating, because this means you are not your thoughts, you are not your personality, you are not your problems, you are not all these things that you feel you need to become in order to enhance yourself. I need to be, like for me, for example, I could say, I need to be really spiritual so that people listen to me, so that people trust in me and my content. And that was actually, funny enough, that was actually one of the objections my mind made when I thought about cutting my hair off. It was like, oh wow, the long hair kind of makes me look more spiritual. The long hair makes me seem like I know what I'm talking about even more. It helps people, I don't know, the audience, you guys, if you see me and I've got really long spiritual hair, because obviously long hair, man, is like associated with spirituality or wisdom or whatever. It was making up so much nonsense, right? Because there are obviously many spiritual teachers who don't have long hair, but it was making up all this nonsense, all this judgment, all of these fears in order to try and pull me back into, maybe I shouldn't cut my hair, right? Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe we should play it safe. This was an example of my mind becoming attached to a certain 3D symbol, my long hair, in order to enhance my sense of self. Be more spiritual, be more knowledgeable. It makes me seem like I know more than the average person, right? Which I definitely don't, and at my truest core nature, I don't want to come across that way. But my mind thought I needed to come across that way in order to get more views, in order to get more engagement, get more clicks, whatever, So yeah, I definitely recommend a meditation practice to everyone watching this video. I'm not even cutting that hair, man. I'm missing it. There we go. But yeah, I definitely recommend a meditation practice to everyone, because essentially if you don't have that awareness of your true fundamental nature, and you don't have that fundamental experiential awareness, that you haven't experienced it yet, because it doesn't matter if you hear me talk about it, if you haven't experienced it, it's probably not going to really sink in. I want you to experience it for yourself. You need to experience that you are not your mind, and you are not therefore chained and bound by all of the desires and all of the things that you need and all of this stuff, because if you aren't aware of your fundamental core nature, you are essentially going to remain a slave to your mind. And what does that mean on a larger scale? It means essentially you don't have free will. Yeah, it's that deep. It's that powerful. It's that, important. Because if you are being run by the programs of your mind, if your actions, your thoughts, your perspectives, your beliefs are being influenced unconsciously, you're essentially on autopilot, right? And you're not in charge, you're not capable, you have no say over essentially the type of person you become. And that's kind of scary, that's kind of scary. And like I was saying earlier, my mind, I really don't think I'm going to suit a buzz cut. Like, I've never had a buzz cut before. So this is completely uncharted territory, and therefore my mind is kicking up a royally big fuss right now. But again, that just provides me with a wonderful opportunity, a wonderful catalyst, because my mind's going to be so noisy. It's going to, in a sense, provide me a much easier time to observe and work with these feelings and see what kind of comes up. Am I going to feel like I'm really unattractive and therefore my value's diminished? And then if that's a feeling that comes up, it then gives me the opportunity to sit with that and investigate it and feel like, okay, why am I linking my value as a person to, how attractive I look? And I can already give you a pretty good guess for one of those reasons, and that's societal programming. We're all very much programmed to, we put a lot of value, a lot of social value on attractiveness and, what we deem to be attractive, because obviously attractiveness is a subjective thing. Everyone's into different things, right? But yeah, so it will give me an opportunity to investigate more beliefs, and it will give me a much easier time with going about that, because obviously, because I'm doing something as drastic as this, I'm basically willingly triggering all of these parts of my mind, my mental psyche, that are in resistance, all of these beliefs that feel like I'm worse off for whatever reason if I decide to do something as shave my hair off. Which really shouldn't matter, right? Really shouldn't matter, because I'm not my appearance. I'm not my body. I'm not my looks, I'm not even, like I was saying earlier, my mental personality. That's the ego, that's the mind. I do believe that we do all have a unique core personality beyond the ego, beyond the mind. That's something I believe. That's something I'm not 100%, certain of, but it's something I definitely believe. Because we all have different passions, we all have different inclinations, different things we're drawn to. Like for me, I'm very much drawn to acting and speaking and helping others, informing others, and just having fun, I think having fun is probably a more universal, who doesn't want to have fun, right? But you know what I mean, like some people are really into music, some people want to be doctors, some people want to whatever. I do think, yeah, you know what, that's not just a belief of mine. I'm pretty sure that we all have true personalities beyond our egoic personalities, beyond the mind that ultimately we actually aren't. And I know that our true personalities beyond that feel much more lighter, much more playful, much more blissful, you know, much more childlike, wide-eyed than the serious ego who's like, oh, I need to do this and achieve that and do this and yeah, yes, I'm really interested in the stock market and stuff because then I can get money if I do it, you know, even if that's not something you're actually passionate about. Your ego personality will be passionate about it, will be interested in it because of what it thinks it can gain from it. If you're struggling, if you're feeling like, oh, well, I don't really know what my true passions is versus, you know, what my ego, what my mind is drawn to, a very, very powerful distinguishing factor between those two dynamics is, are you drawn to it because of something that you feel you can get out of it? Or is it more of a excitement, like a childlike energy of, oh, that'd be really cool to try, yeah, I just want to try it? Like, are you in love with the doing of it? So say if you want to, I don't know, yeah, like use a stock market example, are you genuinely excited about trading stocks and watching the markets and keeping up with the news? Like, is that something you're genuinely excited about? Are you having fun while doing it? Or are you more infatuated with the idea of what you can get from it, you know? Because you've got to be very careful when it comes to those dynamics, because your ego will keep you on a constant rat race. You know, you'll get the money, right? Maybe you'll earn 100k in 1 year. Wow, that's amazing. And then your ego will go, okay, now let's earn 200. Okay, now let's earn 300. Okay, now I want to earn 400, 500, 600. The ego is never, ever satiated. It is never fulfilled, because the ego's job is literally to constantly feel like you need to complete yourself. I guess it's not his job, but a very large dynamic of the ego, something that Eckhart Tolle refers to again and again in his book, and also something I've experienced in my, you know, 4 years of being on this journey, is that, yeah, the ego is never actually satiated. When you are feeling whole, complete, and fulfilled, and at peace, you'll notice that your mind is quiet. There is nothing to get, nowhere to go, nothing to attain. You are just, you're present, you're whole, you're complete, and it's bliss. But when the ego comes back online, that's when the stress comes back, like, oh man, yeah, I need to get that in order to get this, or I need to get that so I look like this, I need to get that so that person likes me, and I need that person so I can feel loved, and I need to feel loved because I'm not good enough. You know? The ego never feels complete. And that is also a very, very, very strong indication that you are in your ego, is when you don't feel whole, when you feel you need something to complete you. I need to look that way, I need that job. You know, so start a meditation practice, please. I promise it will change your life. It will be slow going, maybe you'll only be able to do a few minutes at a time, starting off, but over time, I promise you, it will change your life dramatically. So please, yeah, start a meditation practice. It could be a walking meditation, sitting meditation, guided meditation, whatever you want. Honestly, just please invite that presence, that stillness into your life. It's not even inviting it, you already are it, but start practicing seeing beyond the noise of the mind. You know, the mind that you are identified with, the mind that you may currently believe is you. I promise you, it is not. Especially if it is a negatively orientated dynamic. And as you get into a meditation routine, you will find over time that you become more and more conscious, more and more self-aware. You will be able to catch the ego when it's telling you, when it's demanding that it needs something in order to feel complete and stuff. You'll be able to feel that lack so much more strongly when you have a foundational core awareness of the blissful presence beyond that noise of the mind. Okay, final stretch. Time for the head shaving. Oh, ow. That actually caught quite a lot. But just before we go into this, I just want to read this excerpt from The Power of Now, which really just ties in everything I've been fumbling and explaining to you in the best way that I can this entire video. So I'm quickly going to read this just to really lock it all in. So, the ego's needs are endless. It feels vulnerable and threatened, and so lives in a state of fear and want. Once you know how the basic dysfunction operates, there is no need to explore all its countless manifestations. No need to make it into a complex personal problem. The ego, of course, loves that. It is always seeking for something to attach itself to in order to uphold and strengthen its illusory sense of self, and it will readily attach itself to your problems. This is why, for so many people, a large part of their sense of self is intimately connected with their problems. Once this has happened, the last thing they want is to become free of them. That would mean loss of self. There can be a great deal of unconscious ego investment in pain and suffering. So, basically what that was saying is that, once again, your mind, literally your ego, lives in a state of problems, of unwholeness. I need to fix this. I need to change that. I need to get this, right? And like it said, there will be many little thought, physical manifestations of this with different areas of your life. Oh, I need to be more shredded. Oh, I need to be more beautiful. Oh, I need to have longer hair. Oh, I need to have that job. I need to have more money. I need to have that spouse. I need that person. I need that family. I need what they have, right? There will be countless things that your ego constantly wants, and you will find, once again, that it's never satisfied, and there is always another problem to solve, always another thing to fix, to change, in order to keep running and keep evading this pit, this void of lack that just never seems to be filled. And how do you eventually actually fill that pit? Well, like I said, you become grounded in that state of presence. You realize you are not your mind, and you start to live more and more and more from the wholeness, from the fulfillment, from the peace, from the bliss that you actually are. And from this state comes joy, comes inspiration, comes passion. Life becomes fun. It's light-hearted. Oh, that'd be fun. Oh my God, yeah, I'd love to try that. Oh yeah, that'd be fun. Oh yeah. You start to come from a state of fullness and excitement, like your cup is constantly overflowing, rather than a state of lack where you're constantly trying to fill your cup. And obviously, like it referenced in the book, that means you don't need to constantly try and fix all the individual problems. And I know that I mentioned earlier in this video that that is something that I do from time to time. You know, my mind is going to be triggered, so then it's going to be easier for me to see the certain vulnerabilities and illuminate certain limiting beliefs that are in my psyche so that I can then let them go. And I do that because that is something that I found has worked for me. Once I get to the root cause of a belief, I see that it's nonsensical and I let it go. And more often than not, it doesn't come back. Sometimes it does, but that's because there's a different strain, there's a different element of that overarching limiting belief, you know, a different aspect that needs to be healed. Now, as Eckhart said there, that may not actually be necessary. You know, you may just, once you're in that state of bliss and you realize you're not the mind, all of those things may just fall by the wayside. You don't need to constantly investigate and try and solve all those individual problems. And oftentimes, a lot of the problems I have, a lot of the problems my mind comes up with, are actually solved and do actually fall away without me needing to investigate them. But for me personally, and this is just my personal experience, I personally find that, you know, investigating them a little bit, getting some clarity on why they were there, where they come from, what trauma it was stemming from, has helped me a lot in the past. So that's something I personally like to do. But yeah, honestly, I don't think you may even need to do that. Just connect to that state of bliss, connect to that state of presence, and live from it. And notice when your mind's kicking up a fuss and negativity and trying to draw you towards a certain problem, a certain direction, which of course is mind-made. And ultimately you see that all of the problems that you thought you had are actually illusory, because they're all judgments, they're all opinions, they're all labels that your mind has come up with to create the problem. So then it creates a dynamic of going to solve that problem, going to solve that feeling of lack of wholeness, that wholeness. So yeah, it's a constant cycle. The ego needs unfulfillment in order to create the journey of seeking to be fulfilled. And then once it gets a thing, well, that it told you you'd feel fulfilled, promised you that you'd feel fulfilled once you got, well, you don't feel fulfilled because then it wants something else. Because if you were ever actually truly fulfilled in that state of bliss, presence, and peace, the ego wouldn't exist. you'd be in a state where the ego cannot exist. Anyway, let's get on to the head shaving now, the final stretch. Oh my goodness. Okay, guys, this is what you've all been waiting for, isn't it? But yeah, I hope that everything I've said has come across clearly. I hope it served you. Oh boy, final stretch. Let's see what it looks like. Oh my god. Wow. Does that look attractive, guys? Does that look good? Wow. Oh my goodness. I wonder what my head shape's gonna be, you know? I wonder if I'm gonna have a really big head. Okay. Okay. Oh, wow, that feels weird. Wow, that feels weird. That feels so weird. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I was definitely not expecting to look like this. When I didn't really have a vision in my head of like what this would look like when it's done, but it definitely wasn't this. To be fair though, I don't hate it. It definitely feels nice doing this. I'll tell you, I can see why Shane in The Walking Dead kept rubbing his head all the time. I'll tell you that much. Wow. Yeah, I was not expecting to look like this. I don't know if I vibe with it yet. I have no clue. But yeah, I'm definitely glad I tried it because I never knew I could look like this. Like I never knew I could look like this. I'm not sure if I've got a cool head shape for it. I generally don't know. Like I've got a very, I don't know. I haven't got as weird as a head shape as I thought I had though. Just from like feeling it alone, I thought my head came up a lot more, like at the top, like from here, from the start of my hairline to the top. I thought it was more distance. Well, at least that's what it felt like, but. No, man, that is it's actually, wow, yeah, I have no, there we go. This is what I look like with a buzz cut. Fair enough. Yeah, I'm gonna have a shower and wash all this off because I've heard that having a shower with really short hair or shaving your hair off feels amazing, like feels incredible. So I'm actually really looking forward to that. But yeah, yeah, that's that's what it looks like, guys. That's what my hair. I'll probably have to. Oh yeah, I'll probably have to get some of that off. You know what? I'll probably go get one of my family members to clean it up a bit. But yeah, let me grab this and show you guys. Hair is at the bottom here. Wow. Honestly, not as much hair as I thought there was going to be. I thought there was going to be a lot more, to be honest, or at least look like there was a lot more, but that's still a sizable amount, you know? That is a sizable amount of hair. But yeah, wow, it's done. It's actually done. And surprisingly, I don't feel too, too weird about it just yet. We will see what my mind does in the coming days, weeks, and months, or whatever. see what kind of stuff comes up, see if it does in fact kick up a fuss like I said it probably would. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much. I would really appreciate if this is your first time here, a subscribe. If you enjoyed the conversation today, I make videos very much like that, talking about different insights, mainly spiritually based ones, concepts, ideas that have really helped improve the quality of my life personally, and I'm just very inspired to share what I've learned, what I've used, what I've practiced, what has benefited me with all of you guys, because you know, when I was in my lowest points, when I was really struggling mental health wise, it was YouTubers out there, spiritual YouTubers who talked about the mind, the ego, you know, it was all that kind of stuff that really helped me, and I really want to be a shining light for anyone out there who may be going through a really rough time, going through their own struggles, just like I was. So yeah, if you if you resonate with this kind of content, please do subscribe, do stick around, and yeah, I will see you all in the next video. Bye guys.